LeBron wanted to be addressed. He didn't know when he was going to see him, but when he saw him, he went over and addressed him. And I do believe that Stephen A. did the right thing by not overreacting. And also, because I heard Stephen A.'s comments that this was someone's father talking to me. This was not LeBron James, top 5 NBA. Like, the hat he was wearing was, I'm that kid's dad.
Do you think ESPN don't know how bad this might be as a fit, or they just figure he'll conform?
They desperate. And Charles is a made man. They inherit him. Hey, man, I got married again. Hey, man, she just got a son named Austin. Okay, dude. Let's go, bro. You go into the stall and just tell him, hey, man, I'm going to sit down and try to handle my business and everything. You squirt that in there. Anything extra you got, you shoot that in there, give him a little sound effect.
Yeah.
Sound effect.
Sound good.
Yep.
You make your own pee go in the toilet.
Yes.
The other Visine pee go in the bottle.
Yes.
Perfect.
Because we need you this week. Give it back to him nice and hot. We have a lot of guys that wear gold jackets that somehow they got it done.
All right, guys, welcome to episode of Fully Loaded. Actually, episode 41, Chris Carter with his new cut.
Yep.
Look at that, bro.
I had to clean it up, man.
You look younger with the cleanup.
Spring cleaning.
You look younger with the cleanup. I'm just saying. I think you look. I walked in. I was like, damn, man.
All right.
I look at it. His game is on point. All right. So NFL draft. All right. I want to talk about the quarterback position. NFL draft. I want to talk about your thoughts on how that works. From Cam Ward to Shedeur, and also your guy at Ohio State that everybody's having a meltdown about or talking about from the combine. What are your thoughts as we're getting closer to the draft and what's going to happen with the quarterback position, starting with Cam, Shedeur, whomever else you think is in there, is Dart, all these guys? Right. Like, what's that going to look like?
Well, once we've transferred into the offseason, you can see that Cam Ward is starting to get more momentum. And a lot of that is based on two things. Number one, overall arm strength. Okay. He's got a little bit stronger arm. And number two, he can throw the ball off platform, or he can do some of the things that we have seen the elite players in the league do. Throw on the run, escapability, is a better athlete. So those two things right there give him the edge over Shedeur. Shedeur is a great pocket passer. I still believe he's going to be a top 5 pick. I believe he'll be a long-time starter in the league. And then after that, I believe it's open between Will Howard, Dart, and one thing you haven't heard a whole bunch about is Jalen Milroe of Alabama. I believe he's going to slip into the second or third round because I don't believe he's as good a college player as Jalen Hurt was. And I think he went in the second round. So you heard about him potentially being a first-round pick, Milroe as the season, but when you break down the tape, he's got a lot of work to do as a pocket passer, great athlete, really challenging sometimes throwing the football. But Dart, I do believe him and Will Howard will fit in at the end of the first round because teams are quarterback desperate. And you'll start to see their names called, I believe, between pick 28 and potentially pick number 40. End of the first round, beginning of the second round.
So you heard, Howard threw at the combine?
Yes.
Okay. And then I like when they had I saw a piece from Shedeur when he was like, first of all, buddy, calm down. Like, he's a good quarterback. Second of all, you don't understand when you're out there sometimes, not blaming anybody, you're throwing a bunch of different dudes. You don't know who you're getting, the difference between throwing a Chris Carter and a dude that plays special teams that is not a wide receiver and on the field on a regular basis, I would assume, correct?
Right. Well, every athlete has a different rhythm and beat to them, no matter what sport they play. Now, every wide receiver has a different running gait, so we could line up the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL, and they would all look relatively the same. But when they got to their mark, they do a little something a little bit different. And it can trigger the eye of the quarterback to rush the throw or something he hasn't seen before, or the guys that are better, they transition so much smoother that they're not used to that. So why take a chance if you don't have to when I'm going to stage a workout that I'm going to be throwing to the guys who I've been working out with? And I've come up with the program for the day. My quarterback coach, whoever's coaching me up, they guide me through. So why would I want to do an interview at the combine with a bunch of guys I don't know compared to it's not going to affect your draft status by doing it on your campus with guys you're more familiar with.
So why did Howard do it?
Well, he has more to gain.
Got it. So not really a lot to lose
when you're the fifth quarterback.
I understand why Shedeur didn't do it. I totally get that, or Cam. But Will Howard, you believe, had more.
And he went on a run that no one really in college football has ever seen. Mm-hmm. Those 4 games that he was able to win, and as you could see the throws and everything, I mean, he made himself money every single win. So then after that, it's like, okay, how can I take advantage of that? I'm a football player. Coaches are here. I perform. And that's what he's doing. He's going to have a great pro day at Ohio State, throwing to those guys he's familiar with. But he's really gained the respect of the football world by going about the process and the way he's going about it.
And he threw to some dudes at Ohio State. I mean, so, like, you're used to throwing to, like, some, it's probably hard to transition.
And that's one of the reasons why you leave a Kansas State. That's why Cam Ward, why you leave a school on the West Coast and come and play some big-time football. Cam Ward there in the ACC, Will Howard there in the Big Ten leading Ohio State to the national championship. It really enhanced their abilities to be drafted higher, and it's going to enhance their pro careers.
So I was reading that one, I don't even know who it was. I think it was anonymous. I always like when people have anonymous and anonymity. One of the, I think, general manager or somebody with the team said that Shedeur in his interview was, I don't want to say it wasn't too confident. It was almost like conceited or arrogant or whatever, which was, struck me odd because I've never met a very accomplished athlete, let alone a quarterback, who wasn't confident. Like, never once. I mean, you played it, you're in the Hall of Fame, but I've never gotten in a huddle and been like, oh, shit. Like, I've known we're in trouble. Like, we're in trouble. Like, he don't believe in himself. It's no different talking about baseball. You call me out to the mound, and I'm like, Coach, you need to get him out. Why? Because I'm at shortstop, and he wants to be off the mound. He can't be here. Why? Who's saying that? You know Shedeur. You know him.
Genetically, those two traits typically come together. Like, if you look at the great players and the quarterbacks that have played in this league, and even guys that weren't drafted high, they had great confidence in their ability. Kurt Warner, when he was bagging groceries in Iowa, he thought he was going to be a starting quarterback.
Right.
Now, Ryan Leaf was the second pick. He thought he was going to be the greatest quarterback ever. Now, he didn't make it.
He had some other shit going on. He had some others, that he didn't overcome.
That's when you run out of things to talk about. Now, what I do, and Deion has said this a lot, sometimes people aren't comfortable with themselves. And when you're comfortable with yourself, they're not comfortable with you being comfortable with yourself.
It freaks them out.
So they have to say something. So that's the position that I want a guy, even if it's false confidence. I mean, a guy like Danny Dimes, that's how you get a nickname like that, when he's really a rusty nickel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he is definitely not confident.
Right.
No.
He lost his confidence. Mm-hmm. And that is what happens when you jump from high school to college and from college into pros. They destroy your confidence. The game you used to play, you're not familiar with because you can't play it on this level and things are happening too fast. But that's a trait that I want in my quarterback. And also, sometimes teams that like you, they release information too.
Strategically.
Yes.
Trying to mess with you, trying to mess with the leaderboard.
Yes.
Like, it's like that movie, that dumbass movie, Kevin Costner, Draft Day, where they mess with that guy, before you know it, he's sliding up the, ain't nobody picking him.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, you get him back.
No. Yep, so that might sound like the Raiders or somebody like that. Maybe the Giants, maybe the Browns.
The Giants need a lot of confidence. The Browns need a lot of confidence. The Raiders need.
All those guys need a quarterback.
That's true.
And if they don't get one in free agency, you are sitting at, okay, what do I do? All right? I can guarantee you Pete Carroll will not have a competent quarterback for the Raiders when they take the field in September.
As you see the draft coming up, who's somebody who you think is a guy that somebody's going to grab and be very pleased with? Somebody slipping probably further than they should, or somebody's very undervalued in today's draft, if you're a general manager out there, regardless of position.
I'm telling you, the kid from Penn State, Abdul Carter, who's projected, he's Mel Kiper. Anytime you're a defensive end and you're number one on the big board, like overall, all the quarterbacks, Travis Hunter. If Travis Hunter is a generational talent, and this guy is ranked higher than him, I don't care if he's got a stress fracture on his neck. They tell you he got a stress fracture on his foot at the combine. I don't care. I'm getting ready to draft him. And he's played against a lot of NFL tackles playing in the Big Ten. So for me, the adjustment is not going to be as drastic for him. I do believe he's a guy that can ultimately get 20 sacks in the league in 17 games. Like, he has elite athleticism off the edge. And I do believe that people are talking about Travis, people are talking about the quarterbacks, talking about the running back even going higher, a lot of good offensive linemen. But Abdul Carter from Penn State. And I'm a believer in Mel Kiper. And Mel Kiper will not put you in that top 5, let alone top 10. And now, because of who Travis is, it made me look at Abdul Carter and be like, damn, well, how good is he? If this guy is first-team All-American wide receiver, first-team All-American defensive back, and Mel's got him still ranked as a higher pro prospect than him, something we've never seen before, that right there, I do believe whoever doesn't get caught in the quarterback dilemma, or say, for instance, if Cleveland can draft him and work it out with Miles Garrett. Now, you talking about changing the franchise long term. You know, if he goes to the New York Giants, I think the Giants would take a quarterback. Tennessee, I wouldn't be surprised the first pick if they took him. That would let you know they're going to go with, the quarterback they have and not go with, Shedeur or Cam. But that right there is very intriguing to me, and I look forward to seeing his transition, and I look for it to be swift. Like, immediately the first month of the season, you're going to be like, man, how did that guy end up in this position? It's like he was the most talented. He was the most talented player on the board.
If you were Shedeur, who would you hope is drafting you at the top of that? When you look at those opportunities, because you realize how important the fit is for the quarterback and what you're looking at for your career, who would you be hoping in the top 5 would grab you if you were Shedeur?
There's really 2 teams, and it's really based up on who the coach is. And one team I trust a little better than the other team. The first team would be the Jets, and because Aaron Glenn. I played against Aaron Glenn. I feel like I know him, know people that know him. I do believe he would be a good coach and good steward over his career.
Okay.
He's going to get him the kind of things he needs on and off the field that allow him, to be able to reach his potential. They have a featured number 1 receiver there in Garrett who he could be an all-pro receiver. Like, he still has a couple more levels to him to be able to grow. And I don't trust the organization because they haven't done well with quarterbacks and they have so much hype around them, it's hard to stay focused and stay in the present tense. The next team is where I really would like him to go is with the Raiders.
Okay.
And a lot of that is based on Tom Brady, his ownership there. He already has a relationship with Shedeur. Tom Brady convincing them to do the grown-up thing. Don't go with a retread. Go with a proven winner. Pete Carroll has built programs. USC, multiple championships. Seattle in multiple Super Bowls. Like, he is a grown man. So they have to get a quarterback that can win right now. You saw they signed Max Crosby to the largest contract, non-quarterback contract, let them know that we are committed to our players. So I think that they will take care of him more. I do believe that his image could fit in the Raiders' image in playing against Patrick Mahomes, playing against Herbert with the Chargers, and playing against, in that division with the Broncos, those could be legendary matchups for a long time. So those would be the 2 teams just because of people that I know.
You want the Raiders over the Jets, though? If you was him.
Yes.
Okay, just because of those things. Either one, fine, but Raiders over the Jets.
No state tax.
Yeah, that's true.
Playing indoors.
Vegas.
He'll be able to handle it.
Yeah, he's an adult. He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah. He's
in that regard, he's seen. Yeah.
He's seen a lot of stuff.
His dad's been telling him forever. He's been hearing about it since he was.
For me, and I do believe that's the quickest way for him to be successful.
Got it.
Raiders.
Okay. So switching gears, and LeBron James had a discussion with Stephen A. Smith at the Lakers game over on the bench. You seen that?
Yeah, I don't think it was a discussion.
Okay,
but go ahead.
Okay. Well, what do you? Why don't you tell me? You tell me what you think happened.
Next time I see this motherfucker, I'm getting ready to tell him. Excuse me.
Which motherfucker?
LeBron.
Okay.
That's what. Next time I see him, like I'm not going through the phone call on this one because they have talked on the phone before with discrepancies or, hey, you said this, like they decided not to do that.
Okay.
Like he didn't have Rich Paul, the agent, calling.
LeBron decided not to do that.
Yes.
He decided to wait until he saw him in person.
Yes, he knew he would see him.
Okay.
And when he waited till the time and towards the end of the Knicks game, he addressed him. And I thought it was sensational. And I think both of them are right. For one, LeBron, we have to allow LeBron to wear a couple different hats. Mm-hmm. Because this is LeBron, the dad. Mm-hmm. And what he's saying is, I don't believe my son is getting fair treatment. Mm-hmm. And you made a lot of money off the NBA, and I'm sure you can do that without having my son to be a part of that. Now, another thing I am going to tell you about Stephen A. Stephen A. has information on everybody in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And he also has not told stories. Like he has intentionally omitted stuff, to protect people. Mm-hmm. And LeBron knows that. Mm-hmm. LeBron knows that. So LeBron wanted it to be addressed. He wanted it to do in person. He didn't know when he was going to see him, but when he saw him, he went over and addressed him. And I do believe that Stephen A. did the right thing by not overreacting. And also, because I heard Stephen A.'s comments that this was someone's father talking to me.
Correct.
This was not LeBron James, top 5 NBA. Like, the hat he was wearing was, I'm that kid's dad. And that right there is you've had son in sports.
100%.
I got a son in sports.
Yeah.
I can respect and understand, and that's why I would say in this situation, very, very rare, both of them did the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and Stephen A., I think what I took when he was talking about is he was not talking about the kid ever, he was talking about what LeBron said in the position he put him in. But as a dad, we get emotional, and also you are LeBron James. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care whether it's business, sport. Mm-hmm. If you've earned a certain level, a dude that none of us know is not going to walk up to Stephen A. and talk any shit.
No.
Not like that. He's not going to.
No.
But LeBron, that's where he's at. And he said something else that I never thought about this. Stephen A. said, in a sport where there aren't many former pros, kids as all-stars. And I was like, I guess I'm thinking about it. I'm like, there's a lot of that shit in the NFL. Major League Baseball got a lot of it. A lot of dudes that, like, I had a kid, he ended up being a star too. Are there not that many NBA players whose kids, I was trying to think of one.
It's a numbers game.
Just because there's
less
dudes.
Numbers. Baseball has more numbers on the roster than the NBA. NFL has twice the numbers that the baseball has, and even more on the practice squad. So it's not as if that there's some type of genetic edge to the NFL and what they're doing, or even Major League Hockey.
Baseball.
Major League Hockey and
The
baseball,
NHL,
they all have it.
No, you're right. NHL does.
But it's tough to do. And so now when you get into the sport that has the least amount of numbers, the probability of it happening, what you do see, though, you see more brothers playing in the NBA. I'm talking about blood brothers.
I know
you know what I'm saying,
You know
dog.
biological brothers.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying.
I follow you.
Bro.
I got you.
So you see that happening more so than you do than the father-son. But, I mean, it's a tough act. Any sport. Now you get NBA, you got 15 spots, 12 roster spots. That's true.
Numbers game.
Yes.
All right. So you think they was both right. And what about Stephen A. addressing it after the way he did? Do you think that was a good look? To be able to address
this is the thing, man. Stephen A. is on a different level. Mm-hmm. And, like, earlier in his career, he might have popped off and got emotional. But he realizes what's going on. Mm-hmm. And LeBron is not the right guy that I'm getting ready to, go all in and go after.
Correct.
And his family.
Yeah.
And the message is not supposed to be that. he feels for Bronny because LeBron flexed and got his son in the NBA. But what Stephen A. doesn't understand is that this happens in every walk of life. So LeBron is taking it personal, even though Stephen A. said, I'm not saying anything negative. I know what you said was about me and how I'm raising my son. Because this whole NBA thing is how I'm raising him. Because he could have stayed in college another year, another 2 years.
Correct.
Compared to, because we knew he wasn't ready for the NBA. LeBron knew that. But LeBron also didn't know at this age that he'd be playing this well. Because if he did, he would have done maybe a little bit different.
Correct. He'd be playing there.
And I think player of the month.
I think
in the Western Conference. He hadn't been player of the month in 5 years.
I know.
If he had known that.
He had a longer runway.
Yes.
It would have let the kid play in college and develop more. And it's hard to come out and say that. But as a dad, I feel for the kid too. Because I think in any walk of life, when you put that kind of pressure on a kid, no matter what he does, he can't win. So I just, but yeah, I mean, he's playing unbelievably well, and it sure as hell ain't going to be his last season.
No.
So,
no.
All right, how about from a Lakers standpoint? I love watching Luka play with the Lakers. I definitely didn't like the press conference GM. I just thought it was weird. I think Jason Kidd sitting there nodding his head was weirder, and I think that. Is it too early for us to tell, because Anthony Davis is hurt, now Kyrie's out for the year, is it too early for us to tell if the Mavericks really got screwed on this trade, or are you looking at it going, dude, I still don't understand why they did what they did?
Not unless Luka gets hurt, man. Luka will have always been a better player than Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis did help LeBron win a chip there in L.A. during the bubble, but there is no point in his career that he's been a better player than Luka. Luka's been more consistent at a younger age. I mean, he's all NBA 5 times.
Correct. So why did they trade him?
Because they didn't think that he was going to totally buy into the overall conditioning. I would say the European players are a little bit different than the American players as far as how they're going to take care of their body, how they're going to go about what's the group they're going to have around them. And it was a $100 million transaction. It just wasn't the players because they didn't have to give him a super max. And obviously, Kyrie has shown them so many things that they believe that he can be the leader moving forward. Because AD is a good player, but he's not a leader. All he did in L.A. was complain about being the center for the Lakers.
Correct. I want to be a 5. I want to be correct.
So George Mikan, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaq, Paul Gasol. You don't want to be in that class? And it's in the new NBA, man. Everybody's shooting threes and everything.
It don't matter anyway.
There's only a handful of centers.
They ain't backing you down anyway, bro. I'm playing the post, yeah.
And the reaction of how LeBron reacted to his championship window was shut. Now it's open a little bit because of Luka. And if they get him in shape down the stretch, they're going to be a problem for somebody in the West.
And is he more apt to get in shape and take it more seriously playing with LeBron and the Lakers than having this GM?
How can you not? When you show up to the gym and this dude is sitting over there asleep like Michael Jackson. He got all his meals, Chef Boyardee, the motherfucking chef got him. I mean, how can you not? I mean, this is the gift for Luka. Like, this is where the sports gods, man, kissed him and was like,
woke him up.
Man, you have no clue. Now, I think that he's starting to understand because where he's from, the Lakers are huge. Dallas became huge there when he got there.
Right.
But the Lakers are huge everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that also feeling like the general manager, some of the things they said, I know his dad commented more than he did. And those things can ignite that fire in you to give you that, okay, you know something? Everything they're saying is not totally inaccurate.
Correct.
I could tighten up and be even better. And now I got LeBron, that L.A., man, and sitting courtside and the people coming in, man, that's
different. It's a different world.
Yes.
It's a different world.
I do believe it will change him because he's a little bit like Shaq that's how the Lakers were able to get Shaq. But Shaq got locked in and won them championships. And then said, okay, I'm going to go back to my old ways and everything. Yep. So Luka's going to have an opportunity.
Get locked in. All right, so next year, NFL is going to a virtual measurement using Hawkeye technology. No more chain gangs, I guess. Is that good? Is it bad? Is it going to make a lot of difference with first downs? Do we miss a lot of them?
It's not going to change one thing in the game.
Got it.
That's probably one of the easiest things to do.
Got it.
It's not like we're running some no-huddle offense and everything. So when they punt the ball down, they spot it immediately and you don't have time. No. I mean, when we played Little League, they had a chain game.
I like the chain gang.
But
I like the chain gang, dude.
You probably worked some few chain gangs, and you probably out there commenting to the referees and everything.
Maybe.
Let me go to a couple municipalities where you worked at and see if they don't have your face up at the post office looking for this guy. I would know to run my mouth a little bit, or I didn't drop the chain when the dudes were coming through. I didn't like. Oh yeah, absolutely. I held that thing up, stood by the sidelines. Or what you do is push it into them and run away.
I'm just saying. It happens.
And then when you go to pick it up, it's bent.
It fucking happens, man. Let me tell you, it was not intentional. It was an accident. So that's an easy change. Ain't going to affect nothing.
Definitely not.
All right. So Pacman Jones was on with Prime. He was on Tubi show. We got Time today. And he was talking about drug testing. I like what he said. What did he say? I was really good, Jones said. People don't know how smart I am, but I can say it now. I don't play no more. I never used my piss for a piss test. Not one time. Not one time. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say nothing else. I want your response to that, your comment to that.
I mean, I was in the NFL drug program for a long, long time. And I did use my pee. That's the only way I got out of the program. That's how I graduated. Became a star candidate for the league. But when dudes come through the door, I inform them on what can be done in these situations. If you've already been red flagged by the combine or by college flunk the test, and they're testing you several times a week, this is what you're going to have to do. And all of them, when you tell them it's in your best interest to stop getting high, all of them say, no problem. None of them have any intention of doing that. So we have to show them, and the best way to do it in the way that we used to do it, and I'm not going to tell you the names of these very famous football players.
I know you're not.
But we have doctored up some drug tests to make sure that our teammates
are playing
there. Yes.
You need them to play.
So the system in the NFL is, it goes down like this. First thing in the morning, 7 in the morning, whoever they have randomly coming out of the computer, they put it on a white sheet of paper.
Is it really random?
Yeah, it's really random. It really is. And they put it on a white sheet of paper. And then what they typically do is put that on your locker, on your box, so that you see it when you come in. So we have an automatic red alert when it was P-test, when
a certain person or certain people.
Yeah. When we could see that their name was up there, we had strategically placed a Visine bottle, a smaller Visine bottle, the thicker ones, not the old little small ones. You can't get nothing in that little thing. You need.
I remember the old one.
You need
that before school all the time.
Yeah, you need a bigger Visine bottle, and you need to make sure, because they're measuring the temperature. So the exchange has to happen
pretty quick
when the bodily fluids come out.
Can't be cold.
Right. So we had a couple people that were the standard peers, the clean dudes.
There was no chance they could fail.
No chance.
No chance there'd be anything in their pee.
No chance.
Okay.
So they would come in, they would fill up the Visine bottles, they would put them in the locker of the person, and then immediately before you go to the 9 a.m. meeting, take care of your urine test, because you have to pee before you leave the building.
Got it. So they take the Visine bottle with the thing, go in the bathroom. Nobody's watching you, though. You just got to get the cup back
No
in.
one's watching him.
Okay.
With the Visine, because he's doing that in our locker room.
I got that part.
Then he puts it in the other contestant's locker.
Dude takes it and puts it in his pocket or whatever.
He puts it in his shorts, in his tights.
Got it.
So now we typically at the Vikings, I won't do the Eagles and everything because that was a whacked out system and everything. But the Vikings had 2 guys collecting urine.
Did they watch you pee in the cup? Or
Well,
did they go to the bathroom with you?
I did a study on this.
You did your own research?
I was studying that.
I bet you were.
So one guy, every time you came in, there's a certain amount of paperwork you have to do. He would wait till the end.
Okay.
But every time it was time for you to handle your business, he opened up the paper like he was reading the foot. So I was like, that's good information.
That's good to know.
Now, there's another guy.
He's definitely not looking at the P when he's reading the paper.
He was working for the team. So I
Yes.
said, he works for the team. Then the other guy we have, gray hair guy, glasses.
NFL.
He's working for the NFL because I caught him peeking a couple times. I caught him peeking, bro. I'm telling you. So I was, hey, man, you got to give him a little shoulder, a little buttocks, man. Hey, man, I need some privacy. Or you go into the stall and just tell him, hey, man, I'm going to sit down and try to handle my business and everything. Yeah. You squirt that in there. Anything extra you got, you shoot that in there, give him a little sound effect.
Yeah.
Sound effect.
Sound good.
Yep.
You make your own pee go in the toilet.
Yes.
The other Visine pee go in the bottle.
Yes.
Perfect.
Because we need you this week. Give it back to him, nice and hot.
Done.
First test is in your hand. Was it warm? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's warm. Yeah. Perfect. There's the system right there.
Yes.
So Pacman didn't have to be that smart. It was easy.
First of all, anybody that stops you and doesn't have a reputation of being smart and say, I'm smarter than you think, well, how smart you think I thought you were?
Yeah, I didn't call you dumb. I didn't say nothing.
I didn't. He called himself.
He did call himself dumb. You know what I mean? He definitely.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, man, we got
people don't know how smart I am.
We have a lot of guys that wear gold jackets that somehow they got it done.
It's called teamwork. That's called teamwork. Teamwork make the dream work. That's called teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. So.
Yeah, he ain't dropping no dime on that.
No, hell no.
Nice try, Pacman.
Nice work.
Yeah, we was getting high when you was a baby.
That's the one thing I'm amazed at. Is like, that's a tough enough game already to play.
Yes.
Sober.
You can't play football high.
No, not high. But even like, I don't give a shit. Like it was the night.
No, it wears off. Like even if you are okay, we play at noon, we play at 1. I'm gonna get up, do the pregame meal, and then smoke me like a half a J. By the time you get dressed, by the time you go to the stadium, by the time you see the fans, by the time you see your teammate, man, that's gone.
That is definitely gone if you're smoking weed.
Yeah, that's all.
You when you was on cocaine before a game?
Now you're back in the 80s and 90s.
Well, I'm old. I'm 52 years old.
Okay,
I'm 52 years old.
We were at the end of my career, and now you're back to the beginning.
Let's go to the beginning.
Not before the game.
Not before the game.
No,
okay.
Not before the game. When I was in Philadelphia, never did any cocaine before the game.
Okay.
After the game,
yes,
guilty as charged.
The nice thing is, high school football, that was good before the game, but we weren't playing in front of 50,000 people either. All right. Joey Bosa got released by the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd they release Bosa? Money, cap?
One, often injured.
Okay.
Last year only had 5 sacks. Approaching 30. Has had a number of injuries throughout his career, especially muscle strains, things like that. Also was injured at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. I think Khalil Mack is a free agent also. Like, they have to make some real decisions on where they're going to go as a football team. They could use some more offensive player, could use another wide receiver. So look for some of that money to be dispersed that way. But Jim Harbaugh inherited him. Mm-hmm. Gave him 1 season, and now they're going to go in a different direction. But I respect when you get to that second to last year in the contract, your productivity starts to slip. And he played in 14 games. So it wasn't like he was that hurt this year. Yeah. He just wasn't that productive.
Correct.
I mean, only 5 sacks in 14 games.
Yeah. It's a lot of money for 5 sacks.
Yes.
What's happening with Miles Garrett? Said the owner refuses to meet with Garrett amid his trade request. Garrett requested to meet with Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, but hasn't denied the request, according to Cleveland.com. Garrett has been adamant that he wants to trade to a team that's a potential Super Bowl contender, which obviously everybody in the world knows the Browns are not. What do you think is going to happen with that?
Well, number one is Miles Garrett, when he fired off at the end of the season, I want to be traded. Then he went to the Super Bowl doing all these interviews and everything. That should have been one of the first people he called because that's his business partner.
Correct.
And this man could make his life miserable. Because he don't have to trade him. Like, when you are a multi-billionaire, it's hard to be bullied.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so
because the money don't really matter, and you're gonna get paid anyway, how many games you win or not, and I control your destiny. You're under contract with me.
Right. Now, the Cleveland situation is horrific because he should have been able to sit down with the owner and the owner tell him, this is what we're going to do at quarterback. This is how we're going to get over the Deshaun Watson contract. This is our attack. This is the best player in the franchise. He's been the best player on the franchise since he's been there.
No doubt.
So he deserves the courtesy of some conversations. But it's not surprising why teams lose. It's because their ownership. Like, what owner would cancel any conversation with Miles and the guy is trying to get out? That's the number one thing you're going to do. I'm getting ready to talk to him. Forget what the media is talking about. This is what you got to do as far as business. Like, the only way he's going to come back is if you and him come to some type of understanding.
Right.
You deserve that, and he deserves that. So for me, I get puzzled all the time. People are like, man, why can't this team win? Look at the owner is. Look at the kind of stuff that they're doing. Look at the contract he signed Deshaun Watson to.
And he's out now.
Another Achilles surgery. They just adjusted his contract to get $36 more million cap freed up. They still got a problem. As long as he's on that roster, they got a problem.
And who's going to take him?
Man, I don't know. I'm trading him back to Clemson. I don't give it. Somewhere. He going somewhere.
I don't
man.
think Dabo will take him back.
No, he don't. Man,
I don't think he'll take him back.
Listen, NIL, you got to pay them to come back, okay? Reverse NIL, dog.
Yeah, well, I heard a guy say the other day, you couldn't play dead in the Western. I was like, that's pretty funny. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been
a minute for that.
Yes.
So, all right. Charles Barkley's going to ESPN. I could read like 100 different things he said about ESPN and the Lakers and what they do wrong, and they talk about the same stuff every day and blah, 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 blah. What do you think about Barkley going to ESPN? That fit over there. I mean, obviously, I'm not a bit, like, people say stuff to people all the time, but takes it personally. I don't. Guy said to me today, can I come back to where I work? I said, yeah. He goes, I thought you'd be mad at me and the way I went out. I said, dude, if I only worked with people that haven't talked shit about me, it'd be me and 7 people. Like, you'd be 10,000th in line. What do you think about Barkley's fit at ESPN?
I've worked at ESPN.
Okay.
It's not a good fit.
No, it's not. Why not?
For one is because he's used to talking about the executives, and he's got a really close relationship with the executives at TNT. Their whole situation in Atlanta is so set up for them, for where they travel to, their homes and everything, compared to being on the East Coast, the weather, playing golf, and he's going to get called into the principal's office when he mentions stuff like ESPN.
And he's not going to be okay with that.
They're going to be stuck with him. It's going to be a contract, but it's going to happen. Just like McAfee, when he first started out, he ends up in the principal's office a couple times a year. That's the way Charles is going to be. And then Charles is going to be like, F it, I'm done.
Give me an example. We'll get you in the principal's office at ESPN.
Well, ESPN is not trying to create stars. They're trying to do shows. They're trying to sell advertising, but they are not making individual stars. Like, Stephen A. got bigger than they ever expected.
Right.
That's why they had to pay him the $100 million.
He's kind of a problem in a good way, but, like, he's got a lot of control. He's got a lot of freaking leverage.
And he creates so much content for them on a daily basis that there's nothing they can do. Like, all they can do is put their hands up and be like, okay, let us know when you're done.
So he don't get called in the principal's office.
He has through the years, but he has understood, and also he has been with the changeover when ESPN was purchased by Disney, and the people that run Disney, they made him a priority as far as what they were going to do from a content standpoint moving forward. So, yes, he has a huge say in that. But the countdown show, pregame show to the NBA on ESPN is nothing like TNT. They're not in the same stratosphere. They don't have the same talent. Shaq, Kenny Smith, Ernie, and Chuck Unfiltered, there's
nothing.
It's the best pregame show, I think, in the history of all sports. And I've worked on a couple pretty good pregame shows. What they do, how they handle it, how it's formatted, how they utilize social media, how they do the highlights at halftime with the video board and everything, how they're stumbling, falling around, get pushed in a Christmas tree. They have too much fun.
Eating chips, talking shit,
Man,
pretending to fight.
They're not gonna. You're not allowed to have that much fun at ESPN.
It's a no fun zone at ESPN.
It's not that way. Like it's not that way. And when you have all-timers having a good time, it's because they're comfortable. Shaq is comfortable. Barkley is comfortable. Kenny Smith's the most underrated asset.
Yeah,
he's kind of the glue, him and Ernie, to be able to keep them going. But, man, that is an amazing.
Dude, I struggle to watch regular season NBA basketball, but I will watch that every time it's on. Every time I wait for halftime.
The studio that they have in New York for the NBA and the one they have in L.A., it's stale. It's not live. It's not the same thing. They can't do the same things that they do in Atlanta. So they're going to be restricted. They're going to be at the end of their broadcasting career and be like, man, I'm restricted. We used to be able to do all these things. And the only change is ESPN.
Correct.
So, but you can't voice that. You can't.
Not once he's there.
No. Oh, no.
And you think ESPN don't know how bad this might be as a fit, or they just figure he'll conform?
They desperate.
Oh.
And Charles is a made man. They inherit him. Hey, man, I got married again. Hey, man, she has got a son named Austin. Okay, dude. Let's go, bro. What up, dog?
It'll be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to watch, see what he says or doesn't say, and how that works out for him.
He does not know any other way.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And hey, by the way, him any other way ain't worth watching. Not after you've seen him this way.
And, I mean,
he's too good.
Stephen A. and Chuck are friends, but their styles and stuff are different. That other show is Chuck's show. Everything NBA at ESPN is Stephen A. And, I mean, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to be careful.
You sure? You want to say it?
I think that the NBA and ESPN, they have a number of women that have a strong presence on the NBA telecast. At TNT, they have people that contribute, but there is no one woman that has a strong presence on the NBA shows. So I'm wondering how they're going to blend that into the current compared to how they've done it before.
Now they throw Chuck in the mix.
Yeah, Chuck, Shaq.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This is the dumbest thing I've read in a while. Cam Scattaboo is getting sued by his former teammate, Matthias Caligaris. Did you see this?
No.
These guys are all out doing what you're supposed to be doing when you're in college, fucking around. Looks like at a golf course. Scattaboo, because he's a big, he jumps on top of the golf cart, because that shit is funny, because we've all done it. We've been drunk playing golf. The cart tips down. This kid hurts himself, and he claims that he's now owed $300,000 by his former teammate. Hired an attorney, Neil Adolich, told the Arizona Republic that after repeatedly trying and failing to find Scattaboo to serve him with a lawsuit, the judge allowed Scattaboo to be served with notice, blah, blah. So he's suing his former teammate because they're fucking out on a golf course, and this kid hurt his arm. And somehow he thinks he was due money, but he must not have thought a lot of his career because he's suing for $300,000. So what are your thoughts on that?
He's looking for a payday. He's not looking for $300,000. He'll take anything. He'll take a roll of quarters.
Can you imagine an asshole doing that? That's your buddy. Like y'all were together.
Man, everything changes, man, if you start making money. If we go from nobody to somebody, all of a sudden everything changes. That was one of the first things my agent did for me. I bought a house. I already had a new car when I left Ohio State. It's part of the reason why I had to leave.
You were early NIL.
Yeah,
you were too early for your time.
Doing research.
He was doing research, market research for NIL.
So, I mean, I'm
gonna tell you what. If me and you were on a golf course, any of us, and I jumped in a golf cart and y'all got hurt and you sued me, I'd get in that same golf cart, run you the fuck over, and break your other arm and your leg.
Well, it also let me know that he couldn't do anything. Probably a bigger guy jumped on the golf cart, caused the skirmish, which led to the injury.
Yeah.
Because if he could have done something, he would have done something at the time. He would have settled it right there. Money wouldn't have been needed. Well, he took it out of his.
Danny Dimes, you need to give him a roll of quarters, he'll go away. All right. So I'm going to wrap up with these comments.
Let's do it.
Janny Beloff 21. The salary cap will not continue to increase. Just pay attention outside of this country, you'll understand. I wish they elaborated. I don't know what that means. Do you have any idea what that might mean?
I don't know what planet she's on.
I don't even know if
but
it's
the
a guy
NFL,
or girl,
but
but okay.
but if it is a planet, the NFL is dominating.
Yeah.
The revenue is not going down.
Yeah, how in the
We're
world would it
playing
not
more and
increase?
more games abroad. We just added the 17 games. So that's another revenue right there. Like how we got labor peace. We're crushing the NBA. We're crushing baseball. We're crushing
So that
hockey.
makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but that's the reason why she ended up in the comments, why you end up reading it, because it was stupid.
We do read them. We do read them all. We do read them all. Dorian Lawson, 60-94. If LeBron would have announced he wasn't playing beforehand, I wouldn't have watched at all. I'm guessing he was talking about the All-Star game. And then Sean Dunn, 21-19, put facts.
Yes.
LOL. Didn't watch when he announced he wasn't playing. And then my man, I can't even read this one. Tillett, Tycol, Kedish, Fresh, 6541. I messed it up. Just put lie. What are your thoughts on the LeBron? Had LeBron announced earlier, hey, I'm not going to participate at all, would people have tuned out and dismissed the All-Star game?
Yeah, I mean, only a few people, like you're talking about, like, 'cause only a few people watched the game.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
of course, if he would have announced it earlier, less people would have watched.
Less of the few people would watch it.
I mean, because he is a human draw, and he's playing at such a high level. Absolutely. Absolutely. Give me a little warning, man, if you're not going to be there. Especially, I was more disappointed, not that he didn't play, but he took the space that someone could have been a first-time potentially.
Correct.
NBA.
That's what bothered me, too.
Yes.
Neil, I like this one. Neil 99. He said the NBA needs to stop drafting from college and start drafting from the streets. Those players are skilled, will play, compete their hearts out. Why does it? I don't know why they're all. I don't think all rich prep kids. Rich prep kids that don't have the mental or physical toughness that get drafted. You shouldn't need a diploma to play basketball. I agree with that. There's thousands of street ballers that would school NBA players.
No, you're delusional. Okay, you're on this urban legend BS. Oh, there's better players at the park. No, they're not. No, they're not. And they're definitely not smarter. And you don't have to have a diploma to play in the NBA, but you do have to graduate from high school for the most part, and then you have to serve at least 1 year at prep or in one of these developmental leagues. Like, so no, you don't have to have a degree. So you're wrong about that. You don't have to have a diploma to play in the NBA. You have to be at least 2 years removed from high school graduation.
Correct.
That's the qualifications. If you can play ball, you can be. And there's no whole bunch of prep kids coming from the United States that are dominating the NBA now, man. You're delusional. Like I don't know what you. Maybe because of Cooper Flack, because he looks like one of those kids. But shoot, man, that dude, he got some athleticism.
No doubt about it.
Like he's no Christian Laettner. Dude is dunking on people in the lane. Like, dude is athletic. Like, no, man.
They need some Visine for the PJs.
Yeah, stop, man.
Because every once in a while, hey, I said some stuff
stop.
too. I get high.
This is what I want you to do. Wherever he is, I want you to go through that hood where you were seeing these people and take a picture and send it to our website, and I'll get him a tryout.
Oh, you send it to us. Chris will get you tryout in the NBA. You show me an NBA
You're
player.
a new NBA scout.
There you go. We're getting.
I'm sending you to the
He can
hood.
represent him too.
Yeah,
Send him to Chris Carter.
absolutely.
DM it to Fully Loaded.
Andrew
will get it.
We'll give you 5%
we'll
on the contract that he made, since you got a great eye for talent.
That's why I love Fully Loaded. We read all the comments. All right. This one is KBY 1984. He said, "What the fuck is Chris Carter talking about? We, in quotes, do dumb stuff on the regular. Who is we? Especially a rapper or a street guy. So all the tens of thousands of non-athletes and non-rappers are more credible and more likely to be believable against drugs and sex-related allegations based on a few people accused of things in the industry. What an irresponsible narrative to present to the world, especially being majority of rappers and athletes are black. Sounds like an Uncle Tom judgmental point of view." What do you think about that?
Okay, what did I say?
We was talking about. Yes, it was. We were talking about people not coming out and standing up. We were talking about Jay-Z.
Okay, yeah.
And I just said, like Stephen A. said, people that know him have not come out and said, hey, man, like I've known him for 20, 25 years. You just said, hey, dude, we don't know what people do. You don't know what they do when you're not present. And you said there's some things that have happened, in the news, whoever they've been, athletes,
of course,
musicians, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
Right. And Jay-Z, a young lady accused him of rape when she was a minor. Now the lawsuit, she's fessed up and said I was lying about it.
She sure did.
So everyone is due process.
Yep.
But I'm just talking about human beings, and especially the male species, black, white, whatever you want to call it. We do dumb stuff as men, and I'm including myself in that, bruh. Mm-hmm. Okay? So Uncle Tom yourself on out of here.
All of us. Yeah. All right, last one. Nay 7165. This one's short and sweet. They said Cris Carter is known to be selfish. Hashtag black kettle. What the hell that mean?
I'm selfish. I told my wife yesterday, I'm the most selfish guy that I know.
That's why I read it. Correct.
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
I'm getting
you
better.
Own it. You're getting better every day.
I'm getting better.
You're in non-court ordered therapy.
And I'm non-court ordered therapy, and I'm under a doctor's care, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing great, bro.
Trying
to be less selfish every day.
Well, I'm acknowledging it. I ain't saying I'm doing less of it because that shit work for me. Most successful people are selfish.
That is hard to argue.
And then maybe that's what you're missing, homie.
He's great. Please keep the comments coming.
They're my favorite. Again on the way out.
They're my favorite part. Please keep the comments coming. He is Cris Carter. I'm Shawn Mike. Fully loaded. We love you. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share. Keep them coming. We love y'all. And send a video of the guy you got. He'll get him a tryout. You get your 5%.
We're going to call it the hoodie hookup. You going through the hoodie hooking up people with NBA contracts.
Let's go. I got nothing to say. See y'all.